lead you through the process of completing the debt snowball activity, which is from Chapter 4, Lesson 6. I've set up this spreadsheet to help us organize the information that we're given in the activity document, and this will help us make some quick calculations. So as you can see, the first thing I ask you to do is watch the video, and I will put the link URL for the video up here in this yellow cell. Actually, before you do that though, what I'm going to ask you to do is make a copy of this document, because you can't edit this one. You're going to make a copy by going to File, Make a Copy, and when you do that, put your name here. So if your name is Mr. Murphy, you'll put it there. You can even delete the part that says make a copy. And then make sure you save it in a place. You can also delete copy of. Make sure you save it in a place. Spell your name right. Make sure you save it in a place where you know where to locate it, because later you're going to have to go get it and submit a copy on Schoology. So mine's going to be stored in the Lesson 6 folder, and I'm going to hit OK. That opens up a new tab with the copy that we just made. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and close out the original, all right? Because I don't need it anymore, so I don't get confused. Okay, so after you watch the video, you're going to see what I'm doing right now. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to go through the debt information first. I copied the debt information from the document. You can see I've listed it here: MasterCard, Visa, car loan, etc. I typed in the numerical information like the current balance, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. But what we'd like to do first, before we try the debt snowball calculator, I want to find out how long it'll take to pay off each of these debts with only paying the minimum payment. No snowball involved. To do that, there are several websites out there that will allow you to do it, but I just picked one out here that happened to be from a place called Credit Karma. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up the link. It'll open up in a new tab, and this is a debt repayment calculator where you can type in the balance, the interest rate, the expected monthly payment, and then hit calculate, and it'll tell you how long it'll take to pay this thing off. So I'm going to go ahead and do the MasterCard just so we can see if this will work or not. That's $600 at 19.9% and a $22 payment. $600, 19.9%, and we're going to do a $22 payment. I go ahead and hit calculate, and it says it is going to take 37 months right here, which is what we actually found yesterday when we went through the practice spreadsheet in my presentation. So it's going to take 37 months to pay off $600 at a 19.9% interest rate if we're only making the minimum payment. Now, it says 37 months, so we're going to go over here and actually type in English how long this is. I would prefer you put it in years and months. So this is actually 3 years and 1 month. We're going to write it out in English, so we know how long that is. All right? And then your job will be to go back through for the Visa, the car loan, the student loan, the best electronics, and the house mortgage. Enter in the information for each of those one at a time, hit the button, and calculate how long it'll take to pay off. All right? Now I'm going to warn you, one of these, you won't be able to pay it off with the minimum payment that they've given. And that will come into play when we set our budget. After you've completed this, so that you have an idea of how long it's going to take to pay each of these off if all you do is pay the minimum payment, now we're going to move to the budget slide, and we're going to figure out how much money we have to work with. Now, we actually already did these calculations on the smartboard yesterday, but I've set this up so that you can re-enter that information and get an idea of how much you have to work with. And then I have a little setup over here where you can decide where you're going to make adjustments to the debt payments. So you'll enter in that $40,000 that this person's going to make. And when you do that, it calculates the net monthly income. Then you'll go ahead and enter in your expenses for the cell phone, the cable TV, and all those things will be subtracted from this number. So right now, since I haven't entered any expenses, it thinks I have $2,666 to use for my debts. I really don't have that. Then when you move over here to the right, you can see that I've entered the minimum payments in, but if you wanted, you could change that amount. For instance, if you don't want to take 37 months to pay off your MasterCard, you can increase that payment. Let's say we want to increase it to $30 a month. You just type in 30, and the formula makes adjustments. Then it tells us how much money we still have left over, right? This unallocated minus debt is the amount you have over here minus the amount you're going to pay for your debt. And this yellow box, that's the one we want to keep an eye on. That one has to be 0 or positive. It can't be negative. We won't have enough money to pay our bills. Okay, so once you've entered in your proposed monthly payments, they have to be at least the minimum, but they can be more if you can afford it. Then we're going to go to the Snowball Calculator, and we're going to see how long it takes to pay off these loans. Remember, over here in Debt Info, you've calculated how long it would take to pay them off if we didn't do the Snow Calculator. The Snowball Calculator is set up to figure out how much you will, or how long it will take to pay them off if we do use the snowball effect. So this is similar to what I showed you yesterday, but I cleaned it up a little bit. You'll notice I have a set of 3 columns for each debt: MasterCard, Best Electronics, Visa, car loan, student loan, and the home mortgage. And I put them in order from the least amount that we owe up to the highest amount we owe, which is what they recommended. Notice that it automatically inserts the proposed payment that we're going to type in. So 30 showed up there because I typed it here. And if I wanted to change my Best Electronics to 30, it would change the 29 to a 30 in the same way. So go over here to Snowball Calculator, and now there's a 30 right here. So you don't mess with those blue boxes. They are automatically updated when you type them into the budget sheet. Okay, now what do you do with the Snowball Calculator? The first thing we're going to do is we have to put a formula in here to make the calculation. And I'm going to run through how to do the formula for MasterCard, and then you have to repeat that process for the Best Electronics and the Visa and the car loan. So we talked yesterday about how a spreadsheet deals with formulas. When you're going to make a formula, the first thing you need to do is hit equals. So I type equals there. And then you can either type the cells or you can click on them. I'm going to type because I need to put parentheses around some of my calculations. So what we want to do first is we want to actually make that payment. So I'm going to put that calculation in parentheses. That calculation is the 600, which is our balance, minus the payment, which is that 30 there. That's B3 minus C3. And you can see the spreadsheet actually updates it to $570. It tells us how much that is. The problem is the MasterCard company is going to charge you interest for the next month. So we have to multiply by 1 plus 1/12 of the interest rate. The interest rate is located here. So I'm going to click that cell, which is A3. And then I'm going to divide by 12. And I'll close those parentheses. So it's the balance cell minus the payment cell times, put a star in between those, sorry about that, that's why it wasn't giving me value. Put a star in there for times, multiplication, 1 plus the interest rate cell divided by 12. So the only thing you're going to do when you go over to Best Electronics and Visa and car loan and so on is just change the letters. And I only have to do this once, and when I hit enter, now you can see that I have the new balance for the next month. We do that once so that we have our formula, and then select all 3 cells, and this little handle here, we're going to grab it with our mouse and just start pulling down. Now we already know that it takes 37 months at $29, so let's see if we can get it to 35 or 36. So I'm going to take it down to 37 just to see. But as soon as that thing goes negative, we're done, right? So I went too far, which is fine. You can leave the negatives or you can not. But I will achieve my goal when I get to the 28th line on my spreadsheet, which is the 27th payment. So by upping that payment just to $30, we've really saved some time. 9 months. Okay. Now, the way this works is, now that we know we're going to use this for 28 payments because we have to pay off the last 31 cents, then we're going to start at that point on line 29. We'll start using the $30 for the next calculation. So I'll go ahead and do Best Electronics just so you can see how the second part works. Again, remember, we're going to start a formula. We're going to hit equals. We'll hit the parentheses. We want to do the balance minus the payment. Close your parentheses. Hit the star for multiplication. And we want to multiply by 1 plus the interest rate divided by 12. Close your parentheses and hit enter. Okay, so we made a $30 payment. Remember, we made a little adjustment there. So you don't know for sure if this is going to work out and if you can afford this, but this is what we're doing. And we're going to take this thing down. We know it's going to take at least 37 because 600 took 37. So I'm going to take it down to here. Now, we probably need to keep going, but before we do that, I need to change the payment. As soon as I go below 0, I can start paying this $30 here. So I'm going to change this to a 60. And notice all of these payments change, and now look at how much faster we're going. So I still need to keep paying, but I don't have to pay much longer. So I'm going to scroll this down a little longer and see when it goes negative. That one goes negative right here at line 41, right on this one. And so as soon as that one goes negative, and if you want to keep it clear, you can change the colors on these. So you might want to make this yellow, just so you can see where that one stopped. And then right here, this is where that one stops. You can make it yellow if you want. And now with Visa, we'll pay 39 or more if you decide to adjust that. You'll copy that one down, and once you get down here to line 41, you can take the $60 that's here and you can adjust the new payment. So if you're paying 39 for the first 40 payments, once you get to 41, you can start paying 99 and then continue that one down. That's that snowball effect. So we're shortening the amount of time that it takes to pay these off. As you go through this process, you may decide that you want to make adjustments to your proposed payments, the minimum, if you want to change from the minimum payment to another number, or if $30 is too much and you can't afford it, you can always adjust these numbers, and the spreadsheet will immediately reflect that. I don't even have to go back and recopy things. Let's say I made a mistake and I only want to pay $25 on that original MasterCard. The spreadsheet will update. Now, there is a problem because see where my yellow mark was? It's no longer this place where we go to 0. We would have to move that down to here. So this is the new mark. So you'd have to do that part over again. And then that means you'd have to start here with $60 instead of up here. But the point is you can make adjustments. You can always go back up to the top and just recopy everything. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't even have to delete everything. Just go back, recopy it, and start over, right? Once you get the formulas in, copying is easy. You just grab that handle and you're good to go. Okay, so here's what your job is. Your job is to start by watching the video and making a copy. Once you have your own copy, you're going to use the Credit Karma calculator or another one that you found to compute how long it takes to pay off these debts if we don't use the snowball method, if we just pay the minimum payment, and write in English how long it takes, years and months, okay? You'll enter in these white spots. Then you'll go to the budget. You'll actually fill in all of the stuff, even the stuff that I didn't fill in, so you have an idea of how much money you have to work with. Then you can come over here and make adjustments to your proposed payments. You have to stay at or above the minimum payment, but you can pay more. As long as this guy stays positive or zero, the big yellow number there, mine right now is 862. As long as that stays positive or zero, you're in good shape. You make the adjustments, those numbers will update in the blue boxes, so don't mess with the blue boxes. You enter your formulas in for each of these calculations and then use the handle to copy that payment down, that calculation down, and you're looking for where it goes negative. When you've got all of these filled in, you'll have the snowball calculation taken care of and everything zeroed out, and we'll know exactly how long it takes. Then you're going to go to my Google form, which is linked in your Schoology, and you're going to answer the questions that are there. And all you do is answer it based on the information that you've found from running through this process. So if you have the spreadsheet handy, you'll be able to answer the questions. It won't be a big deal. So that's your goal. I'm going to pair you up with one other person that you can work with, but everybody has to turn in their own spreadsheet. So you can work with somebody to do the same numbers, but you have to turn in your own spreadsheet. And you have to turn in your own Google form. So everybody's got to answer the questions. You can work together to answer them, but you've got to type in your own answers. All right, so that's our activity for lesson 6. It's about time for me to stop this video. Good luck, and you can ask me questions, of course, if you have any issues. Take care.